Very good afternoon, my dear student. So today I'm going to discuss about the different type of devices, that the difference between how the different devices are working, and some of the topologies I'm going to discuss today. This is under your what under the introduction to computer networking. Okay, so introduction to computer networking. Under that introduction to computer networking, we can see that how the thing will going to work and how we see all these things are working. So first I will going to discuss about the hub and what about the switches. Hub and switches, hub versus switches. How the hub and switches will going to work here. Clear? So those the hub and switches, hub means what? Hub we find it that will going to work in the first layer. That means the first layer of the physical, which is known as a physical layer of OSI model. There is an OSI model in a networking. That details is not there, though often in the OSI model, that means open system interconnection model. So in this particular model, we can find there are the different layers, 7 layers are there. So under the 7 layer, the first layer is the physical layer. Okay, so first layer is what? The first layer is a physical layer. The second layer is what? Second layer is said as what? Data link layer, isn't it? So these two layers are there. So hub work in the first layer and switches work in the second layer. So as hub work in the first layer and switches work in the second layer, we can find the switches is much more effective than the hub. Here the switches are much more effective than the hub. So what we find is that each of this particular section, each of this particular part of the particular effect, okay, they will going to work under the different sections in a different way. Then how they are working, what is their working pattern? Switches is very much effective. Switches, we find it that these the switches means what? Switch means joining the multiples computer. It will join the multiples computer within and one LAN. So within and one LAN we can find that how they will going to join, how they are finding that particular thing will going to join. So when we are joining them, what we find it, a hub just connect. Hub means what the hub will do, hub will connect a multiple ethernet system. I have discussed in my previous videos and lectures. There are the ethernet system. So those multiple ethernet system, what are there in the ethernet device, what we find it that the single segment is there. In this particular single segment we will going to have our different connectivity process. So all these different connectivity process what are there, all these different connectivity sections what are there. So each of this particular connectivity sections, what we find it that we are using the hub, isn't it? And switches is a smarter than hub. Why? Because it helps to determine the target and forward the data. Okay, it will going to help to determine the targets and it will going to forward the data. That means what we find it, there is an high performance. So high performance is there. Based on this particular high performance, what we'll going to have, it will going to be a cost that will be much more expensive. Okay, now switches versus router, that means what are the gist we can find here, that hub is much more effective than the switch. Switch is working in which layer? Switch is working in the physical layer and hub is working in the which layer? Hub is working in the first layer. Okay, so there we find it that they will going to do the particular work and they will going to make this particular work very much effective. Clear? Switches versus router. What we see the switches versus router is router versus switch. That means in the OSI model, we can find it that when we are using the OSI model working on the higher level of the network layer, isn't it? That is the third layer. We find that what is router there. Router means which will going to find the or route, isn't it? Router will help you to find or route the things. And what the switch will do? Switch will going to do the particular section and it will going to find out the particular place through which way it will going to work. So routing packets to the other network. What does the routing do? It will packet the thing to the other network. So there is an intermediate destinations of connecting the multiple area of the network today. So switches are used for an wait. Okay, this is are used for the web network. So yet the router can be linked, so that we can link the router and we can join the router. Clear? So that we what we find that which one is more effective, which one is more efficient, that particular thing will be going to have very much costliest one for it. Now, router versus gateway. Router means to find it, and gateway means to give the gateway which will going to regulate the traffic. That is the different traffic. What is the traffic means? The information that are coming from the different sections. Suppose there are two dissimilar network is there. So in this particular two dissimilar network, what we can see, what we can find it that in this particular two dissimilar network, the router what this will regulate the traffic, isn't it? In a similar network, router is a hardware device. Here, router means it is an hardware device. It will help you to forward the data packet between the computer network. Router perform the traffic to direct the function in the internet. But connection in one network with a router. For example, suppose if you take a 30 computer to connect inside a network, okay, A, we are taking one network A. So all these computer which are in this particular, and there are some other network, there are some other computers as well. So in this situation, no gateway is required. So we don't require any gateway here, because the router with its table means operating system phase, it will going to hop within those 30 computers, and it is enough for it, isn't it? So as it is enough for it, we can find it that they are going to do the particular thing, and they will going to work on this particular data structure, isn't it? So as we go and work on this particular data structure, we find it that how the connectivity system is being incorporated, connecting between the different network with a gateway. If you want to connect with a gateway with a different network, suppose there is a network A and network B is there. So when you are connecting the computer X with a network A, you want to send the data to computer Y, and network B, from network B also you are using it. So then what we need, you need a gateway. That means gateway will going to give you a permission from network A to network B, so that you can send the data, you can find the data to be communicate with it. Okay, so this is the way what you can find, this is the way what we can see, that we can send the data and we can work with the data. Now let us come with the different type of network topologies. Different pattern of topologies are there. Topologies means rules and regulations. Okay, so there are the different type of rules and regulation with the help of which we can connect the local area networking. So our local area networking or LAN, whatever the local area networking we do have or the LAN we do have, we can interconnect them. Okay, we can make a millions of data to be sent from one particular section to the another section. We can have a different other particular format that will going to work. So there are the arrangement of the computers and the other peripherals. We are combining the different peripherals, different computers and different other things. So all those different other sections, all those different other parts, that is what, that is we say that each and every peripherals what are there, that all the peripherals will going to work based on the topologies. So topologies is there. What the topology we find it, that each of the particular topology what is there, there is a mesh topology, ring topology, bus topology, star topology, and tree topology. Topology, I think you have understand it. Topology means the roots. What we want to do, what are the arrangement that we are making, how we can connect the different computers, how we can connect the different types of the particular devices and the peripherals that are attached with the computer system. So this is what we can see, this is what we can find, that we are working with that particular phenomenon based on which we can send the information or data. Now, network topology, structure of the topology is very much important. What that is a geographical structure. Okay, it is a geographical structure. We said this particular geographical structure, what we are doing, we can send the structure and we can work with the structure. So it is a geometrical pattern arrangement in any of the geographical region. Okay, suppose your home, suppose your particular total building, your school, your university, your campus, isn't it? Working area, different offices, there we have a different geographical locations are there. So based on that geographical location, what we require the geometrical arrangement of the particular thing. When we can do the geometrical arrangement properly, we can define the structure, we can make the channels, and we can send the data. So topology is what? Physical topology. Physical means that you can see, like the layout of the networking system, what is being made, the cable, what is being given. So all these things we can see. And another is what? Logical topology. Logical means informative way you have to think that how can you send the data and information from there to the another sections. So how many type of topology we can find? Basically, you can find there bus topology, star topology, ring topology, mesh topology, tree topology, and hybrid topology. So today I am going to discuss some of those topology system. First, the bus. Bus means not that bus what you are going from one place to another place. Bus means that particular pattern of connectivity system where there will be one single cable in a middle. And based on that cable, what will happen? Both the side there will be a different type of nodes. Node means this will be said as a node. Node means different devices. Any pattern of peripherals it can be. These are the different type of nodes are there. So all those nodes will be connected, and through those nodes what we can do, we can send the data from one section to the another section. And what will happen? Both the end of the bus will be locked. If we want to extend, we can open any of the section and we can extend that particular section of the bus, isn't it? So this is known as a backbone. This particular line what you are seeing, it is known as a backbone of the topology system. So this is the backbone what we find that all the nodes are connected and we can get the different type of what connectivity process that will going to work on it. Okay, so it is lesser secure and it is lesser reliable. Next, you can see here another diagram I have drawn it for here. This is the communication channel or the bus. In this communication channel, you can see there are the different type of nodes are there, and those the nodes are connected. So what are the advantages we can get it? This is very easy to install. The connectivity system is very easy. Minimum cable is required. What is the disadvantage? Difficult to reconnect. If you want to reconnect it, it will become a very much difficult. Difficult in finding the problems. If any machine is not working, there is very difficulty in finding that problem. Difficulty what's to add the new devices. Now if you want to add one device, suppose if you want to add one devices here, so you want to add one devices, this is very difficult. That means you have to configure this, you have to configure this, you have to configure this, then the whole system you have to configure, then only you can do the work. Okay, now break stop all the transmission. If this particular thing is broken, that means this what middle rib or mid bone is broken, then what we find that the system will going to totally stop. Starttropology, one of the very important, very informative communication topology system, based on which what we find it that the thing will going to work. Okay, in this particular communication system, there are the central node is there. What is a central node? This is central node. This will going to control everything. Like how we can see railway reservation system, we can see the different office, isn't it? We can find different government offices are there. So all these things what are there, all these particular thing what are there. So each of this particular thing what we can find that it is been controlled by the central system. Now those are the different type of nodes what are connected. Many nodes will be connected. Here I have shown you only 4. Okay, so all are the different pattern of nodes are connected. So all this particular pattern of nodes what are there, we find it that particular node will going to work out, isn't it? Those the particular node will going to what work in the different pattern of area to do the broadcasting system. So send the data and information. Now, as I am talking about the Starttropology system, what we see that this is the main section. This is the central hub or the switch. From the central hub or switch, we can see that all the nodes All the different nodes are connected and we can send the data, isn't it? So what is this advantage we can find? It is less expensive than the mesh topology. It is very easy to install, and there what we can find, if one link is not working, suppose this link is not working, okay, if this link is not working, other link will going to work. But disadvantage, if this main link or the hub or switch is not working, the total system will going to stop. So this is how we can find it, the particular start topology system will going to work. Okay, so this is what we see, that particular start topology system is working. Okay, now what we are talk about a ring topology system. In a ring topology system, what we see in the ring topology system, that ring topology is like a ring. You see it, the connection, it is connecting from here to here to here to here to here. So any pattern of connectivity process or any pattern of informatic process, it can able to send the data and information. What are the advantage? Very easy to install, easy to reconfigure, and detecting a problem is also very easy. That is the one thing. But if you give a break in any of the system, the total system will be collapsed. Okay, so this the particular total system what is there, this particular total system will be collapsed. Okay, so this is what about the topology is. So I have discussed some of the topologies and their working pattern, their advantages. Thank you, students. So I am ending up my today's lecture here. Thank you all.